Hey there, welcome back to Canadian Insights, and buckle up because today we're diving into a story that's got more pressure than, well, a water main about to blow. Danielle Smith is absolutely losing it over Calgary's exploding pipes, and honestly, after what happened, can you blame her? We've got water shooting into the sky like Old Faithful, a premier who looks like she's about to combust herself, and duty Nenshi caught in the crossfire. So grab your popcorn, maybe a life jacket, because things are about to get messy. So let's set the scene here. It's 2024, summer vibes, people are hitting the parks, enjoying the sunshine, and then boom. Calgary's water pipe decides it's had enough and explodes like it's auditioning for an action movie. Now, you'd think okay, that's bad, we'll fix it, move on, lesson learned, right? Wrong. Fast forward a few months, and guess what? Same pipe, different day, another explosion. It's like the city's infrastructure is playing Russian roulette with itself, except every chamber is loaded. And Premier Danielle Smith? She's had it. Absolutely done. Finished. The woman looked at the cameras and basically said frustration doesn't even begin to cover it, which in political speak means she's about 3 seconds away from flipping a table. And here's the kicker, the city has actually admitted out loud where people can hear them, that any section of this pipe could blow at any time. Any section. At any time. That's not infrastructure management, that's playing Jenga with people's water supply. Imagine waking up, making your morning coffee, and wondering if today's the day your street becomes a water park. That's the reality Calgarians are living with, and Smith is rightfully furious because this isn't just an oopsie, this is decades of neglect wrapped up in a catastrophic bow. Now before we go any further, let's talk about how we got here, because this didn't happen overnight. Calgary's water infrastructure is old, like really old, like your grandparents' wedding china old, except way less charming and way more likely to explode. The city's been kicking this can down the road for years, doing the bare minimum, patching things up with metaphorical duct tape and prayers. And it's not like nobody saw this coming. Engineers have been waving red flags for years, reports have been written, meetings have been held, and yet here we are, watching geysers erupt in the middle of the city like we're on some kind of twisted infrastructure safari. The thing is, fixing water mains isn't sexy. It doesn't win elections. Nobody's out here campaigning on the thrilling promise of pipe maintenance. But you know what's even less sexy? Having your city turn into a splash pad every few months because nobody wanted to deal with the boring stuff. Smith gets this, and she's calling out City Hall for dropping the ball so hard it bounced into another dimension. She's essentially saying what we're all thinking, how did you let it get this bad? How did you watch this train wreck happen in slow motion and do nothing? And then there's duty Nenshi, Calgary's mayor, who's now in the hot seat trying to explain how this became such a disaster. Nenshi's been in municipal politics long enough to know that infrastructure is the backbone of any city, but somehow Calgary's backbone is more like a wet noodle at this point. He's facing questions from every angle, from residents who are rightfully ticked off, from businesses losing money every time the water gets shut off, and from Smith herself who's basically standing there tapping her watch like, well, we're waiting. Now here's where it gets spicy. Smith isn't just frustrated with the situation, she's frustrated with the response, or lack thereof. The provincial government wants action, they want timelines, they want assurances that this won't happen again, and what they're getting from City Hall feels like a whole lot of we're working on it. That's not good enough when your infrastructure is literally exploding. Smith's message is clear, get it together fast, or the province is going to start asking some really uncomfortable questions about competency and accountability. And let's be real, this is embarrassing for Calgary. This is a major Canadian city, an economic powerhouse, home to some of the country's biggest industries, and it can't keep its pipes from blowing up. That's not the headline you want. That's not the tourism brochure. Come to Calgary, where the water pressure is so intense it'll take out a city block. Not exactly catchy. The optics are terrible, the reality is worse, and Smith knows that every day this goes on, it makes Alberta look bad by extension. But beyond the political theater, there's a real human element here. People are scared. Businesses are suffering. Every time that pipe blows, entire neighborhoods lose water, sometimes for days. Do you know how much fun it is to live without running water in the middle of a Canadian winter? Spoiler alert, it's not. People are filling bathtubs just in case, stocking up on bottled water like they're prepping for the apocalypse, and wondering if their city government actually has any clue what they're doing. That's the reality behind the headlines, and that's why Smith is so fired up. The Premier's anger also highlights a bigger problem we're seeing across Canada, crumbling infrastructure. Calgary isn't unique in having old pipes, tons of cities are dealing with aging water systems, roads, bridges, you name it. The difference is most of them haven't had two major blowouts in the span of a few months. Most of them have been proactive instead of reactive. Calgary got caught with its pants down, and now it's scrambling to fix decades of neglect while the whole country watches. Smith's calling for accountability, and honestly, she should. When infrastructure fails this spectacularly, someone needs to answer for it. Was it poor planning? Lack of funding? Political priorities being elsewhere? Probably all of the above. The city's been focused on shiny new projects, fancy downtown developments, while the literal foundation of the city was crumbling beneath their feet. It's like renovating your kitchen while ignoring the fact that your basement is flooding. Eventually, reality catches up, and in Calgary's case, it caught up with explosive results. And let's not forget the cost. Fixing this mess isn't going to be cheap. We're talking millions, maybe tens of millions of dollars to properly address the water main issues. That's money that has to come from somewhere, and you can bet taxpayers are going to feel it. Rate hikes, special levies, whatever they call it, people are going to pay for decades of kicking the can down the road. And that's what makes this even more frustrating. It was avoidable. If the city had invested in proper maintenance and upgrades years ago, we wouldn't be here. But they didn't, and now everyone's paying the price. Nenshi's in damage control mode, trying to reassure people that the city's on top of it, that they have a plan, that this won't happen again. But actions speak louder than words, and right now the only action Calgarians have seen is their streets turning into waterslides. Smith wants concrete plans, she wants timelines, she wants proof that this is being taken seriously. And until she gets that, expect the Premier to keep the heat on City Hall. The political fallout from this is going to be interesting too. Smith's already positioning herself as the voice of frustrated Albertans, demanding answers and accountability. It's good politics for her, standing up to what looks like municipal incompetence. For Nenshi, this is a nightmare scenario. Nobody wants to be the mayor who presided over exploding infrastructure. It's the kind of thing that sticks with you, that defines your legacy, and right now his legacy is looking pretty soggy. But beyond the politics, beyond the finger-pointing, there's a real question here about priorities. What kind of city lets its infrastructure deteriorate to this point? What kind of leadership doesn't see the warning signs? Calgary is supposed to be a world-class city, but world-class cities don't have pipes randomly exploding like it's a normal Tuesday. This whole situation is a wake-up call, not just for Calgary, but for every city in Canada that's been putting off the unsexy work of maintaining infrastructure. So where do we go from here? Well, Calgary needs to get serious about fixing this, and fast. That means proper engineering assessments, that means funding, that means political will to make infrastructure a priority even when it's not flashy or exciting. It means learning from this disaster and making sure it doesn't happen again. And it means Smith and Nenshi need to work together, provincial and municipal governments actually cooperating to solve problems instead of just pointing fingers. Imagine that. Alright folks, that's where we're at with Calgary's exploding pipes and one very angry Premier. What do you think? Is Smith right to be furious? Is Nenshi getting a fair shake or is this on him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I want to hear what you're thinking. And if you're enjoying Canadian Insights, make sure you're subscribed because we're dropping multiple videos every single day keeping you updated on everything happening across this country. Hit that like button if you made it this far, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay dry, Calgary.